So for module 1, we'll be looking at the prompt framework. That's the structure of a good prompt, comparing side by side with a bad prompt, which you can use this structure in any AI platform. That is what differentiates you, the results you get with someone who understands how to use a prompt. That is why when you use AI to write your email or your articles, experienced people, or basically anyone can just see and say, oh, I think this was written with AI, or I can say this was written with AI. So that is what will differentiate you from others. So we are going to be looking at the 5 parts of a good prompt. Then for every module, we have added templates for you to use. Okay, so the goal is that when this is shared with you, you'll be able to use it to apply it to your everyday task. Okay, so that is for module 1. Then for module 2, we'll be talking about discussing how to use Claude as your executive assistant. So we start from explaining what an executive assistant does and how you begin to build your framework, that is to say your prompting framework around that. Then for the module 3, we will use Claude as your research assistant, okay? As your research assistant. So there are things here that I'll show you. We want to give you much more. So I'll be pointing out some things here that you can try on your own as well. So how to use Claude as a research assistant. And the beautiful thing about this is that all the modules are tied, okay? They are tied continuously downward. Then you will also look at in module 3 or module 4, how to use Claude as your data analyst. So here we can use Claude in several ways, but which in the several ways I have explained here. But what I would like us to focus on, because this is an online class and it's one class, so we just want to brush through. What we'll focus on is basically how to use a Claude with cleaning data, basically, with Claude as an AI agent. So we have a step-by-step guide here for you to follow and practicalize on your own, right? With everything you need here. Okay, then the next module is vibe prospecting. The vibe prospecting here is how to generate leads. Okay, how to generate leads. Claude is one AI that makes it possible for businesses to generate quality leads, not just dummy text that people can generate directly from AI, but with Claude, we can actually generate quality leads here. So, and it's called vibe prospecting, okay? And that is where we'll be closing it. Now, it's important to know that we have AI, we could create AI agents that will do some of these things, especially when you can allow AI work for you and direct AI on what to do. Basically, you have that system that will enhance productivity and so on. But it's quite impossible to do that in one class. And we have training on AI agent or agentic AI. So we have that training where we begin to teach students right from creating a flow system, right, up to enhance using AI to enhance those systems. So today, what we are going to do is that we are going to start from module 1, because of the content, the depth of the content we have, and the way we have explained everything, it's going to be easy for everyone to be able to follow through. So what we are going to do is that we'll make it snappy. We'll just pick some of the modules, discuss them quickly, practicalize them, and then we send, email the document we have created for you. We email it to you. Then you practicalize, join our community, ask questions, and we continue the communication there. I hope I'm clear. So what that means is that we are going to have continued discussion, right? We are going to have continued discussion along that line, because it's quite impossible for us to all discuss all of these things in one sitting and in one class. So, and how Cloud works is that if I want to showcase all of these things at once, it's practically impossible, because the coins will, in our account will expire, and they'll give us some time to come back for that. So that makes it impossible for us to do all in one class. So what will happen is that you go take this, you practicalize. We'll send you in the email we'll be sending to you. We'll give you the our community or tribe link to join on Telegram, so that we will continue the discussion. Oh, I tried this is what I got. I tried this is what I got, and so on. Mind you, we understand that you will have good things to talk about too, not just problems to share. So we want to also know how these materials and the class we've shared with you, how it helps you use AI differently. So that's the goal. All right, so let's go on. I want to know if you can see my screen clearly. That is, you can see the text. You can read with me. Is it clear? Is the text legible enough? Okay. So now prompting is very important, because prompting is the way you direct AI to work for you. Is a way you direct AI to do the task. Okay. So what we should understand, that I believe we already know, is that AI does what we brief it, not what we mean. Is what we give it. That is why you see many people tell you that you see so many funny memes about using ChatGPT, where you say, okay, ChatGPT, transform this image to wear black, and ChatGPT will change the body, the color of the people, and make them black persons. You say no, the clothes, and you see it begins to give you varying results, and very, very funny results. It can be frustrating. We've seen funny things on social media like that. So the truth is that ChatGPT cannot know, or AI basically generally cannot know what we mean. It understands what we brief it. So every part of this module that we are sharing with you today exists to close that gap, right, between what we brief AI and what we mean. So it clarifies what we mean, so that AI will understand exactly what we mean and give us the results that we want. Okay? So prompting is a skill. Many people don't understand it yet, but prompting is a skill. Now, what makes AI super helpful is that AI tries to understand what we are trying to say, right? For instance, those of you who have not heard of DeepSeek is deep, then seek. Okay, DeepSeek is an AI that clearly shows you its thinking pattern. If you have not used it before, kindly use it. DeepSeek. It's an AI that clearly shows you its thinking pattern. So, because the thinking pattern is externally is shown that we can see it, DeepSeek will teach you how to solve problems, in the sense that how do you synthesize problems? How do you break down complex problems into simpler tasks? And that will show you if your prompt is even, if your prompt, you have a poor prompt, basically. So now let's look at the 5 parts of a productive prompt. There are 5 parts of productive prompt. And what I want to make us understand is that AI is smart enough now that it can actually save our discussions. Like if you look at most AI, Cloud, Quen, and the rest, we have the ability, they give us the capabilities to be able to create projects. So what most of us fail to do is that we just go to AI, just put in the chat and begin to chat willy-nilly. So but we can create projects. If we create projects, we make AI understand that each project is similar, has the same characteristics, and is open for continuation. So that my AI is not, for instance, if you use AI for a business, for instance, AI will not just think that you are constantly working for a particular organization, but to understand that you work for several organizations. So now, a strong prompt is a very, very good brief. Okay, it's a very, very good brief. And one challenge we have, even with communications in organization, is that we don't know yet how to write wonderful briefs. Even with entrepreneurs don't know how to receive briefs, give briefs, and so on. So it's a challenge. But this is what we are trying to solve here now. What are the parts? Role. So a strong prompt, you have to give it a role. What is the role? The role here explains the role that AI will assume in solving that problem, right? Do you want, is it the person who should solve that problem? Should that person be an experienced entrepreneur? Should the person be a medical practitioner? Should the person have a particular knowledge of a particular field? Okay, then after the role, you will now go with the task. Help me with this data, for instance. The task here is now clean this data set and list exactly what you changed. That is the task. But what do we do first? Most of the prompts we have or we ever develop or write is just focus on the task. You upload the data set and say, oh, DeepSeek, ChatGPT, or Quen or Cloud, help me clean this data set. So when you clean this data set, what I clean the data set as? What is the role? What is the role of the person cleaning it? So it's very important because if you write a proper prompt that has a role, the AI will assume that role to help in cleaning the task. We also need to give context. So we said role, task, then we are in context. The context is very important as well. The format is important as well. Then we have to give guardrails. Okay. So if by the time we go down, let's go down, we have broken this down or expanded this so that we see it very well. Like the first part is the role. Okay. The first part is the role. You are naming a kind of expert. You are making AI serve as a kind of expert, as a particular expert. Then why does it matter? The role sets the vocabulary, it sets the depth, the assumptions, the standard of the answer. For instance, there is a data cleaning expert or a business intelligence expert will clean data differently from a data entry expert. Someone who enters data will clean data differently from someone who wants to clean that data for business analysis. You see, someone, for instance, the way a medical doctor will answer a particular medical question will be different from how a public health specialist will answer that question. So the role is very important, and the role determines the depth of the response that you want, particularly towards a particular driven or move towards a particular section. Now, let me make this very simple here. Imagine that you are watching a roundtable session, right? Where you have different professionals speaking on a particular topic. Someone who has lots of years of experience on gender violence will have a different take on the cause of gender violence, of domestic violence at home. You will be surprised that that person may be leaning towards or supporting or standing for women, right? Because that person has spent all her life trying to protect women from violence. Then, if you have a political analyst there, the political analyst will argument will be towards what economic and political transformation that will reduce domestic violence. For instance, the political or economic analyst may argue that if the economy was favorable, that the home has a lot of money, some violence will have been dealt with or will not even occur, right? Then you have a pastor or a priest or an imam, a religious leader there. The religious leader's perspective will be coming from the provisions of the Holy Book. What does God say concerning this matter? If you're understanding what I'm saying, kindly let me know that you get what I'm saying. I like to understand that I'm speaking to, okay, we understand very well. All right. So now this is very important because we have to understand this, that the role we decide to give AI at that point will help us answer the question towards the angle we want those questions to be answered. So saying this now clarifies the point or the fact that we must first think of the best thing or the best person or the best role that will answer the question the way we want that question to be answered. Because if you do this, like I said, give it a question, use different roles, you are going to see that the answers, the response you get from AI will be tilted towards those specialty or the roles you have used. For instance, the gynecologists will be talking about the impact of domestic violence on procreation. You see, right? One topic, one question, different response based on the different professionals that should answer that question. So the question we should ask ourselves is this prompt I'm writing, who should be the best person to respond based on what I want my output to be used for? Okay. So then the second is the task. The task is the exact job you want AI to do for you. And you have to be clear here. You don't have to mince words or use jargon. So you have to be very clear how you want it. And we say here that start with clear actions, like action verbs or verbs. Write, clean, or summarize, or compare, or draft, or analyze. So you have to actually state one main job. One mistake that we do is that we use in the action, we use a lot of verbs within that action. We want it to analyze, we want it to compare, we just want everything done at once. That is why AI often gives us something that we don't want and we are not happy about. Okay? Don't be vague. Okay? So the third part is the context. So the context is the background. Okay? That is where you turn your generic answer into the right answer. So now, context is very important. You see, for instance, I was using, let me use pain point, business pain points, for instance. Or I don't know, the pain points of participants of this class. But let me just use this example. Let's say your organization is looking for people, leads, right, that will convert to paying customers. And you have done ads on Facebook, Google Ads, and the rest, and have not had the conversion that you need to break even. So you are looking at cold calls, emailing, and so on. So you want to get email lists, and you want to get email lists, and you want to get numbers for cold calls. So now the thing is that AI wouldn't know your situation at that time. it wouldn't know that you have tried several things and have failed. So AI wouldn't even know if your problem is proper segmentation in the first place. But how will AI come to know? AI will know if you give it the right context. If you say we have done marketing using this, targeted this set of persons on what on Google Ads, we've targeted this set of persons, targeted this population, we've targeted this on Facebook ads, on social media ads, and so on, without the necessary conversion. And you have to be precise. What is the actual conversion you have at that point? What is the actual conversion you have? And what is the conversion that is your target, or what is your target conversion? Okay, when you give that context very well, context explains what your goal is. Okay, now that will help AI understand your problem, and it will even solve the problem in better ways that you ever thought of, because you may not have looked at a particular problem as huge enough or big enough or impactful enough on your results, but AI may flag that and it will help you. But if you don't give that context, you are not going to get the results that matter. Okay, so that is it. Then the fourth part is the format now, the shape of what you want. The shape of what you want. Now, do you want it as a prose? That is, do you want it as sentences, as paragraphs? Or do you want it in tables or in bullet points? Or do you want a clearly polished email or an interactive dashboard? Everything you have to clearly state. Then, very important, people don't know. Sometimes people call it negative prompting. Okay, even ChatGPT will call it negative prompting. When you ask ChatGPT to prompt for you, ChatGPT is going to give you a prompt and it's going to give you a negative prompt. The negative prompts, we call it guardrails. That is the rules and the limits of that AI must not cross. Now, sometimes, most times we use AI and we say, oh, AI, we have tools that will pick for AI. But to tell you the truth, there's a way you write with AI that those AI tools or the AI detectors will not pick it up. So let me give this simply here. Why is it that AI will write and AI detectors will pick it up? So AI, there's a particular way AI writes, and so AI tools are created to detect that way. That's the way AI writes. That is the AI outputs. It's not that there's a hidden code under what AI writes. It's not like there are words AI must write, but AI sounds mechanical. For instance, AI sounds overly poetic. AI have unnecessarily short sentences or abrupt sentences. AI uses M dash. You know what I mean by M dash, right? The long dash. Are we following? All right, so all of those things and the use of words that ordinarily you wouldn't use. But you know the funny thing here? There are some words that Nigerians use in their everyday speaking that AI uses. Like the delve. Let us delve into this. I started using delve, and let's delve into this before I even got to know AI, and I've been in this industry for a while. I started using some words. Before I knew AI used them. That is why you see that we have to. There's a way you write. You tell AI. If you tell AI, write in such a way that it's not picked up by AI detectors. AI will tell you it doesn't know how to write that way. It can't write it. It can't promise that it will write without picking up. So you don't have to tell AI, don't let the words be picked up by AI detectors. You just have to tell it that what you don't want it to do. Don't write in short, abrupt sentences. You can list out the words not to use. Don't start sentences with by. Don't start sentences with by, with, right? No unnatural sentence, no use of poetic languages. And this is the highest, the deepest secret. This is it. You know that as a Nigerian, we use British convention, right? And there is the Nigerian spin to the British convention of writing. You know that, right? Let me see your hand if you know that already. There's a Nigerian spin to the British convention. Okay, so if you don't know that already, note that if you're using a laptop or you're using maybe a computer, you know that you can select US English, British UK English, and Nigerian English, right? You can select Nigerian English. Nigerian English is a spin to what? It's a spin to the British convention. Now, most AI, if not all, naturally will write with the US convention. Are we following? Do you know what I mean by US convention? By US convention, I mean the US structure of sentences, of language, and so on. The US use of punctuations, right? Of punctuations, that is that way. For instance, it's very unnatural. Like most times you go to LinkedIn, almost half of what you see, you read, were just pure AI write-ups that were pulled out without being properly formatted. Okay. Now, there are disadvantages to that. AI is making lazy writers. They are making people too lazy to write, too lazy to put their thoughts together. And it's actually a huge problem. If you get to a point whereby you may not even know how to write just to respond to a message or an SMS without being sure of of what to write, right? You say you always prefer what AI has given you. So if you can't get from AI, you will not be confident that what you've written is right. So that is what happens with dependence, right? But if you know how you use AI to your advantage, when you use AI to your advantage, AI in fact will make you better, will make you put your words together better, put your sentences better, understand English language better. Okay, are we following, please? Okay, so let's discuss a little bit on prospecting, vibe prospecting, and then we'll go back to that. Now, the fact here is this: if you use Claude, ordinarily it gives you plausible, not verified context. That is context. It gives you plausible but not verified context. So, what to get verified contacts, right? To get contacts from a business tool, you use vibe prospecting. Okay, you use what? Vibe prospecting. So, how do we activate vibe prospecting? We have stated here how to download, so install Claude and the rest, so we will not waste your time with that. So let's head right into it, okay? Let's head right into it. So we go to customize, okay? You see connectors, right? Click on connectors. When you click on connectors, you want to click on the plus icon to add connectors, okay? Look at this. You click on the plus icon to add connectors. Go to connectors. Then let's search for, you can see various connectors so that if you want to add specific connectors, like you can add the Gmail connectors that will draft, replies, summarize threads, and set your inbox, right? I don't know. This is very important because what we are showing you here, it's actually great for many other things. Okay, many other things. It's not just for vibe this thing. That's why I told you that I'm going to be showing you a lot of things. Okay. Sorry, give me a minute. Less than a minute. So now you see that if you want let me share this with you. You see, when we talk about agentic AI, we say we create agents, right? We create agents that will help us do specific tasks, okay? That will help us do specific tasks, okay? So now let's look at this way. If we are creating agents to help us draft replies to emails, help us summarize threads, and help us search our inboxes, we can just go ahead and add the Gmail connector. You see, right? So I just want you to scroll. When you check, you are going to see different connectors. Do you see Elicit here? You see Elicit, right? Let me know. Let me see reactions from you if you see what I'm pointing. You see Elicit. Elicit is an AI repository where you find research papers. Okay, so as a researcher myself, I don't go to Google, let me say, what is it called? Google Scholar directly to look for papers. What I do, Google Scholar is good, but I don't go to Google, the Google profile to just search for research papers. I use databases, of which Google Scholar is one of it. But my best is Elicit. You know what Elicit does? Elicit will help you summarize your questions, right? It will help you summarize the findings of the topic, put them together, give you different prospects, draw research papers from different areas. So you see, if you want to search and analyze, I beg your pardon, scientific papers, you are going to add Elicit, okay? You can add Elicit. Please take it down. I want to be able to guide you in our community how to use these tools, because like I said, we can't possibly finish all of these things in one class. So take it down, Elicit. You know how to add it. Elicit, you have seen Gmail. Gmail is going to help you for the personal assistant part. So you can add Gmail to that. Elicit is for research, okay? You have seen that. So you also have project management tools. You saw Asana earlier, and there is Vessel. Okay. So if you are interested, you use all of these tools, then let's see, you have Dropbox, Lovable for building applications and websites. Okay. So you have Spotify here. You have a lot of them. You also have, if you ever want to be able to allow AI, if you want to allow AI fill your PDF forms for you, but if you provide it, your contacts, it's just fill. Let's say you want to fill PDF forms from your job, say guarantors form or so on. What you can do, you can search for a PDF this thing here, connector here. But let us search for vibe prospecting, because it's vibe prospecting we are looking for. Okay, so this is vibe prospecting. It's empower your chat with B2B data to create lead lists, research companies, and personalize your outreach. So all you need to do with any thing is just to click and install it. Okay, when anyone you add, just click the plus sign and then install it. So it will, you follow the guide, you install it. When you install it, it will give you some coins. It has been installed. Okay, you see, it has been installed. That is why it says whether you want to uninstall. Okay, all right. So you just follow this step. It's saying the MCP server is requesting permission to access Vibe prospecting. By clicking allow access, you authorize MCP CLI proxy to access the following: open ID, profile, email, offline, and this. You just agree to terms, allow. Mind you, if you don't allow, you cannot continue. So you can go ahead and log in. Okay, you go ahead and log in. So let me just log in with. So you can see the little challenge you can face if you cannot connect. you will disable it and enable it again to make sure it can connect. Okay. So you basically, that's why I say things like this you cannot possibly just do all at once because sometimes it fails. So authorization successful, you may close this window and return to the CLI. So you can see you allow for what needs approval, you always allow so that it's for instance, export to CSV, you need to allow it export the contact it gets to CSV. Okay. Then read only tools. You need to match businesses, match prospect, autocomplete, just always allow. Okay. Write and delete tools. You can allow it there to always ask for approval, or you leave it at always need approval. Anyhow, basically, anyhow you want that. Okay. Okay. So we have now successfully done everything about our vibe coding. So we have set it up. So now if we look at the step on the vibe prospecting workflow, okay, let's look at that. We have said that in cloud, open settings or customize, then connectors, browse connectors, we have done that. Find it verified, which is vibe prospecting, we have done that, right? Then describe your ideal customer in plain language, mid-size. We have connected vibe prospecting already. So let us use what we have here now. Okay. We said number one, define your ideal customer. So everything we need for our ideal customer. So we are going to copy this. Okay. We are going to copy this and use that. Okay. So this is the first step. We are going to use that. So step 2, we want to find our targets. Okay. Usually, I will have to relaunch to update. So kindly allow that we do that. Relaunch to updates. And let's update anyway because we are in class. We're setting that up. So it's going to come back up shortly. That is why I said we may have setting this up in class and so on, so that we don't go and we don't spend too much time waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. So, okay. So while we are waiting for that, does anyone have a question?
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, right? These connectors, must it only
Yes.
be in cloud? Don't other like AI platforms like ChatGPT, Brain, and other, don't they have the same ways whereby we could connect to our emails or whatever application we need to connect to?
So we have they are like plugins, right? They are like plugins. You get we have, but cloud makes it very easy and direct. You see, cloud is from Anthropic. So when you see Anthropic and partners, right? They have it's just like you have a is it add-on? Like even in that Microsoft Word have a lot of those add-ons as well. Like you can use your Microsoft Word to design, but many people don't know. You can get more other templates in Microsoft Word than any other person can get if you know that how to use Add. You can insert your QR code. Um, you can insert QR code and the rest. So all of these add-ons are there. You understand? So let's look at that. We still have our connectors, connector, the web prospecting there. So it's the same way you are going to connect Indeed. Remember we talked about job finding job, right? The same way we are going to connect Indeed. So now we can see that we don't have that prompt to we don't have the prompt to relaunch Cloud anymore because I think everything that we've added has been saved. So what we copied earlier, put it here. So remember, I said you are going to remove the role. Then we are going to remove task as well. That is the label because those were just labels for you to use them. You say you are a B2B, that is business to business protection strategist. Help me define my ideal customer for my, so you have to put the business. Let's say the business is restaurant. What should we use? What should we use? Let's use training firm, or should we use accounting firm? Right? Accounting firm. Okay, so we'll take this context out. My service is, you describe it. So since we use accounting, we are now going to use, we say for an accounting firm, we are going to use tax and account reconciliation. So tax, account reconciliation. We are going to use account reconciliation. We are going to use audits, right? Let's say audits as well. And you say, and it helps who? Who are you helping? Is it small businesses or large businesses? So let's just say small businesses. So this is very important. Solve what problem? What problem? They are filing and tax returns issues with CAC. I work in what market or what region? So let's say you work in a fast-moving consumer goods product in Nigeria. So you see how we are editing it. So the format now is it asks me 3 sharp questions first. Then write in 1 paragraph ideal customer profile, the job titles I should approach, and 2 or 3 signals that tell me a company is a good fit for right now. Guardrail. The guardrail is we say what? Keep it specific and realistic to for my market. You see, I was teaching something. I said it is better instead of us to just jump into new charts. It's better for us to work with projects, right? So we'll create projects. The projects here will just say maybe prospecting. Okay. So we click on new projects. Sorry, this is you just click on new project. Actually, yes, this is where you put the name. So prospecting. You click on new projects. Let me cancel that and repeat that. So come to projects. If this is where you search for already created project, then click on new project to create a project. So let's say prospecting. Okay, we'll say prospecting, then we'll say create a project. So we have created our project now. There are some things there are some things we need to check. Now, Cloud have different effort levels and different plugins. We have the Opus 4.8, the Sonnet 4.6, Haiku 4.5. So if you want a complex, if you want the best answers, you have to use Opus, right? If you want most efficient for everyday tasks, use the Sonnet. If you want fastest or quick answers, use that, but I prefer the Opus. Then for effort, on effort here, you either select you want low effort, medium effort, high, extra, or max effort, right? So high effort is okay. Then for thinking, make sure you check thinking. Don't put off thinking. Check it, make sure it's on. Okay. For more models here, you can just steal these models. Like I said, we have several models here. We have several models based on the efforts you want. Okay. So we will go ahead and paste what we edited, and then we run that. So Cloud is going to think, is going to run with what we have asked it to do. Remember, we told it that it said, ask me 3 sharp questions first. Let's see, it said crafting what? 3 incisive questions to crystallize your customer profile. So we want Cloud to ask us these questions. These are the questions. What is your strongest entry point pain, or what people will call pain point? It's the same thing. The issue that gets a prospect to actually pick up the phone, is that the issue, right? That is the first question. The second question is, which size of small business are you best positioned to actually serve and retain? Please, this is very important. I like that we follow through. The third question is, what's your revenue model? This decides who is what pursuing. You see that it's helping us actually create what we said it should create. We want it to create realistic customer profile that we will work with. But you see, most of the times when we do this on our own, we don't take these things into account. Let's go back to the first question. The first question is, what is your strongest entry point pain or pain point? Now, it helps you understand the issue that gets a prospect to actually pick up the phone. Is it overdue annual returns? Is it federal inland revenue and tax filing problem? Is it the companies that need audited accounts? Or is it messy book needing reconciliation? So it's something, and if you don't have anything here, you just go ahead and enter something else. Maybe if it doesn't list out the things you want, you pick something else. So now, let's just assume and say Federal Inland Revenue Service. Okay, we pick that. We go to the next question. Which size of small business are you best positioned to actually serve and retain? So we are looking at size of business as micro, that is 1 to 9 staff, small but structured, 10 to 49 staff, growing SMEs, 50 plus staff. So let's just pick growing SMEs. Then we go to the third question. What is your revenue model? Do we want a monthly retainer, or we want one-off projects? Now, the best thing, if you're a business, you're an entrepreneur here or learning here, let me just make this addition. The best thing for any business is a retainer, okay? A retainer. A retainer ensures that you have a business that continuously pays you. So don't do it as a one-off project. If you do it as a one-off project, you always look for clients. You always repeat the process of looking for clients. So you will want to have a retainer, right? You will want to have a retainer. So let's go with monthly retainer. Okay, now that we've answered that, you see that our question and answer have been filled. And now Cloud is going to work on it to give us a customer persona. What the persona of a customer that we should be looking for. Why is this very important? It's important because you see that we not just lump all of the prompts like most people would do, lump all of the prompts and allow AI to struggle and give us something that we may not want. Okay, you look at this now. The ideal customer profile. A growing, fast-moving consumer good SME in Nigeria with roughly 500 to 20 staff, regional distribution of food, a beverage manufacturer, a package. So you see, basically, let me not just read this word for word. So let's continue with our work, shall we? So now that we have done that, we will need to go forward to finding the targets. Okay. Now, using the word find. Hold on. Let me see how long we. Okay. I think yeah. Okay, that's it. So let's go to steps. So using the web, find number of real companies in the sector that fits this profile, this your ideal customer profile, that you now paste that ideal customer profile that the cloud gives you. I will point out something here that you also can just refer to the customer profile earlier. You can do that as well. So for each company, give me name, what they do, and where they fit in. Cite a source for each. Do not invent companies and tell me if you are unsure about any. So let us copy this. So we are going to stop on the prospecting here. You have others. How we continued here in the document, in our manual, how to draft outreach messages, how to plan follow-up, and so on. Okay? So let us just use that. So we said using the web, find how many real companies are we looking for? Let's say 10. Let's make it short. 10 real companies in FCMG sector. Let's use Lagos. Fast moving consumer goods in Lagos that fits our customer profile above, because that is why it's important that you use one. You use a what's it called? A project customer profile above. Now, for each, give the company name, what they do, and why they fit. Cite a source for each. Do not invent companies and tell me if you have any issues with anyone. So let's run that. So now it's working on that. So this is the exact way you can. So it's doing exactly what we asked it to do. It's searching the web. It's going to search the web, get us the content that we want. Okay. So you can see the problem is it tells you the issue is facing. It says grappling with depth of information, wrestled with verification limits, devoted towards transparency and targeted research. So sometimes also the data we are actually looking for may be scarce, and not many SMEs will not have their data so outward. But this is something I like cloud. So once your prompt is correct, for instance, ChatGPT, your prompt may still be correct. Everything may be fine. It will give you a nice table and you ask it, verify. It will say, oh, sorry, the one I provided before was not correct. You understand? That's that is why when I think it's Diala or Chinaza that asked of say ChatGPT and the rest. Now every AI, something I'm going to add here, every AI have their strengths. What you can do with some that you cannot do with others. They have their strengths. If you want to be a good problem solver, use DeepSeek. If you want to, if you want to learn coding very well, use Quen. Okay, so you're right. All right, so you see what is done here. So we say 10. It's giving us 10. It give us a list. The if you see, this is the links where it pulls the information from. So from here, right? From here. Now, let me explain something. Nigeria is not like other parts of the world where you can easily see the phone number, maybe the executives of Vitru Industries on LinkedIn and so on. It's where you can see repositories of contact everywhere. But something that helps us with here is that it tells us that, okay, I can send an email, for instance, to Vitru Industries. right? Because it gives us this profile. It has given us, if you continue with what we have done, okay, you are going to see, if you continue with what we have done, you are going to see how it narrows this down. So these are 10 companies. Each of these 10 companies are actually real companies, okay? They are real companies. Are we following, please? All right. All right. All right. Right. Okay. So let me look at something. Okay. So are we maybe okay? So let us add Indeed. Indeed, it's a job platform, right? You can see Indeed here, search for jobs. You can see Indeed, you add Indeed. Okay. So you can continue to, you see what we are doing. So you just continue to set it up because this will, what we're able to do with Cloud here is to use Cloud's power of searching for companies that fit what? Companies that fit our, what's it called? Our profile, right? So remember we added vibe prospecting, and vibe prospecting is an AI. So it says describe your ideal target audience or get inspired by our template. So you can use their template or do their ideal customer profile here. So what we will do now is to come and copy your ideal customer here. We say your ideal customer profile is this. Okay, we have used that already here, but let's copy this. I hope we are following, please, and paste it here and do this on vibe prospecting here. Okay, so vibe prospecting is thinking. Okay, so you see that it has given us everything. He said, I've identified 163 fast-moving consumer goods SMEs in Nigeria that match your target persona, which includes growing manufacturers, distributors, and wholesalers with 51 to 200 staff. This company fits the profile of business that have likely outgrown their informal finance structures and are facing the tax compliance pressure you described. So you can look at a table, expand to look at a table here, right? Look at them, okay? Or you export it. Remember when we're picking those permissions, right? So look at them here. So with this, you can look at their domains, that is their websites, okay? So we can export this and get the full list out. Remember I said 163, but the sample is 5 of 163 here, okay? You see, this is vibe prospecting. So you can set up, just follow the channel, the prompt it gives you in setting up your, what's it called, your Gmail. You can set up your Gmail. You can set up your job search platforms. On its job search, what you can do, you can upload your CV and tell it to find matching jobs in industries for you with a particular pay range, and it will do that for you. Okay? Is that clear? Are we following? All right. So, Rashida, you are not following. I see a thumbs down. Rashida, you're not following. You have a particular question to clear. Hello, Rashida. Oh, it was a mistake. Yeah, we are very concerned here. At Awake to Power, we actually want everyone to follow. That's why we say we are going to share the everything with you, because we prepare everything like this to share with you. So that you follow, we want to look at that. Then data cleaning is one headache, right? For data analysts in the house, let me see the data analysts in the house. Let me see. Make some noise with your reactions. Okay, the data analyst in the house, the risk analyst, the healthcare analyst, the marketing analyst, policy analyst. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. So data cleaning is one serious headache. What I like to do, what I like to do, I might not say AI should clean all my data for me, but it's important that I have a summary of the problem. I would like to have a summary of the problem. And Cloud Code is very powerful when it comes to solving that. Cloud Code is so powerful when it comes to solving that problem. Because I could, when you install cloud, you have chat, you have co-work, right? You have co-work, you have code, right? In Cloud Code, you can use Cloud Code to solve that issue for you. So what happens here? Let me go to desktop. Let me go to my desktop and see. Here, you can see this. What happened is that I already worked on this. So I'll just show you this. We have step-by-step guide to help you achieving this. So this was the first data set. This was a messy data set, right? So this was a data set. And as analysts in the house, we can already see some issues with this data set. We can see inconsistent formatting in the sex column. We can see negatives in the age column. We can see that, right? And we can also see blood pressure issues formatting here with 0. Then even in the state, we can see inconsistent formatting and so on. But yeah, there are easy ways in fact, in the age as well, you can see text and so on, inconsistent formatting there. So there are many ways we can actually look at this data set and say we work on them. We can actually work on them as data analysts. Cleaning data is very important. But now again, when we look at the final record that was worked on by Cloud, you can see that Cloud Code worked on this data and everything has been formatted properly. And this was done using a framework that we'll be sharing with you. So it's a step-by-step process. It's slow sometimes, right? It's slow sometimes, but we have given you step-by-step that you can repeat and get the exact results, okay? You get the exact results. The data set will be shared with you. So we would like to see how you follow that step-by-step to get that done, okay? Then it is also possible, right, that you can get your charts as PNGs. You can get charts as PNGs. Is there as well. Then you can get your dashboard in HTML. Like most of the time, this was done by Cloud Code, basically, right? It was done by Cloud Code. So now you have, this is what responsive. Are you seeing? It's highly responsive. You see that, right? This was done with our step-by-step guide. The diagnosis, these are the list of the diagnoses and so on. So now, is it possible that you use HTML for your dashboards? No. But what you can do, remember we said you can do a mock-up. A mock-up is a realistic creation. A mock-up is a realistic creation of a dashboard that you can recreate using visualization tools. Isn't that right? Isn't that right? So we can see that this is the dashboard from that very record that you can achieve from our step-by-step guide that we have given you. So it is simple actually to achieve. It is simple to achieve. You come to Cloud Code, first thing to do is to create a folder on your desktop. Basically, you are using your computer as your local host, as your host. you create a folder, you put your messy data there. When you put your messy data there, you have to set cloud to local. When you set cloud to local, here you can see this is the folder, right? But in your case, it might not be this folder, it's just the folder. So you open folder. When you open folder, you will pick the exact folder you want. Right? You can just go ahead and pick the folder you want, then you select the folder. When you select the folder there, then we have basically created the step-by-step. For instance, if you go to what we have shared with you here, that should be module 4.5. If you go back to where what we shared with you here, okay, this is the step-by-step here. Here, we say, I'll say, open the workspace. This is it. Look at now in that box. Type. Look at the file. Look at the file messages in this folder in plain English. Tell me. Remember, like I said, this is what I use. This is what I use Cloud for. I want to get a summary. This is what I use Cloud Code for. It's like an agent, right? I want to get the summary of the issues, right, that we have there. That is what I want to do. I want to get the summary of the issues that we have there. So I can just paste this here now. Then I run this. Okay. What I have done, there step by step things I've already activated on my Cloud Code. Okay. There are things I've already activated on my Cloud Code that the step by step is there step by step for you to activate. You see, it has gone to that folder. It has opened the file, the Excel file, and it's reading the issues. Remember, I showed you the issues before, right? We talked about the issues. Now, let us see. Did it get the issues correctly? You are going to see that it did indeed. Okay? It did indeed. Now, look at this, right? When we looked at that patient record, we saw that number one, it tells us the column descriptions, what the data it contains. Then it tells us the data quality issues found. For instance, it say I sharp value, that is patient 2, the weight in kg is blank. Patient 3, the age is blank. You realize that as data analyst, you realize that blank entries is not supposed to be okay, right? Specifically in key variables like age and weight when it comes to healthcare data. Are we following? Okay, are we there? Okay. All right. So your response is making me know that I'm speaking to wonderful people indeed, wonderful people. So now, if we looking at all of these, you will see now that when we go to impossible or nonsensical values, for instance, we will basically call them outliers as data analysts, right? We call them outliers because it is not possible for a human to live for 200 years, right? That is an outlier. Then what about -5 years? The person is -5 years. Can you imagine, right? Is it possible for somebody to be -5 years? So then it tells us about the person whose age was written in number. Then the weight as well, 500 kg is implausible for a human patient. So it's very important to see you use this because sometimes I've seen analysts who will tell you that that is the data they give you, that is what I will use. But no, that judgment, AI has not come to change. AI has not come to take the job off you. It has come to enable you work better, reduce human errors, enhance productivity, and so on. So those that AI will take their jobs and those that will not know how to use AI as productivity tools. Do you get that? So you see, these are things that may skip your mind when working on them because you will not see impossibility and so on. For instance, you see age is 0, blood pressure is 0, which are likely placeholder defaults rather than real readings. Okay, so most times you see people allow these zeros there. instead of taking them out. Okay. Then you can see inconsistent date formats, highly inconsistent. But most of the times you miss this. Many analysts will miss this. But when you use this system to understand the different date formats, you already know where the problem lies. You know what to do, even if the data is so much, right? Even if it's too much for you to use this method. But indeed, you can use this method. Okay, so this is gender. These are all of the challenges we saw there. Okay, look at the conditions, how they should be. Malaria, typhoid, hypertension, and diabetes. But these were, for instance, HTN, hypertension. You see that these are three different entries. Meanwhile, they mean the same thing. So it's important. Are we seeing how helpful this is? Okay. Now we have gotten this report. What we can do, okay, what we can do is to we can go a step further. So see what I wrote here to say, notice it is reading the real file, not guessing. Look at the problem it finds. Ages like 200, dates with different format, sex written in several ways. This is written real data. That is why I had to open the data set for us to look at it very well. So you can ask Cloud Code to clean the data. Now clean the data. Standardize the sex column to male and female. Flag or fix impossible ages, and make all the visit dates use one format, right? That is for other things. So when you ask it to clean this, okay, so let's go back there. Now, don't think I'm just copying this. I'm showing you so that when you are working with your own, you will be able to use exactly what you should use. Remember, I have it said save the clean version as patient record clean. Okay, so I'm going to make sure I'll just remove this record so that it will not have to ask for permission to write over that. So that you just save it as something new. Okay, now here, sorry, there's something here I didn't show you. You can also choose the models here you want to use. You can use Opus 4.8, Sonnet 4.6. The reason I'm using Sonnet 4.6 is so that it doesn't put in much work, much effort. It allows us to actually showcase what I want to show you here. That's the reason is this. Then the effort is low. Again, I left it at low so that it will allow us enough credit to showcase this to you. Meanwhile, even with it using the Sonnet model and the low effort, you can see that it still actually picks the actual problems. In fact, identifies the problems and so on. So let us now run this now, and then we will see what it's doing. Now, you see, I will create a Python script to clean the data systematically. Now, what we don't realize is this, that this is an AI agent working in the background. We are not seeing what it's doing. We are just seeing the result. But if we were to create this using N and N, or what we say N8N, or how it's written N and N, you will see that the workflows, we will see the workflows clearly. So that is it. The workflows here. So let us allow this. Okay, let's allow this so that I continue. So the workflow there, the N and N model here, there on the workflow, makes it look appealing. Wow. You know, the framework and so on makes it look appealing. You understand? So let us allow this too. I hope I remember to, okay, it's editing the patient already. Okay. So the CSV was already written correctly. This was just a console. So it's done. It's telling us the rows and columns it dealt with. the age, everything. It's just telling us everything is dealt with. So it's telling us what it is correct, what it has corrected, and so on and so forth. Okay. So the original file, patient record, messy is untouched. The clean version is this. So you can either download it here or go back to that folder you attached to Cloud Code. If you go back to that folder you attached to Cloud Code, you are going to see your patient clean.csv. Let us try that and see. Okay, we can see patient clean, right? It saved it in the folder. Should we open and see side by side with the messy data? Can we try that? So are we following? Are we together? Okay. Let us open side by side and see that. So we open the patient clean. Okay, this is it. Okay. Okay. So let's look at that now. Let me make this to the side. Then we open the patient's record messy. Let's go with that now this way so that we have to see them side by side. I hope it's not too tiny. So are we seeing, let us pick specific rows. Look at row 14, where Ifoma Nandi was written in Word as 30. If we come to the same row here, you see this was a messy data, right? So let's just highlight it so that we'll see that. So are we seeing the difference? We can see the difference, right? We can see here it converted that to 30. Then we see where we have patient 8, blessing Okon, patient 8, that is row 9. It tells us the age is invalid. Now, what is the difference between this one I just did in class and the one I did earlier? The one I did earlier, I told it that it should convert the patient 8 negative to remove the negatives, right? So you can either flag it or you convert it. So your prompt matters, okay? Your prompt does what? It does matter. So you can flag it so that you deal with it or you remove it. But it's important that you flag it because when you flag it, you can ask your source, your administrator, what did you mean in -5? What did you mean in this patient 5? You say, I'm looking to confirm the age of patient 4, patient 3, patient 5. You understand? Because if you go ahead and take a decision on your own and say, okay, you want AI, you know, whatever you tell Cloud Code to do, it will do that, right? It will do that. But that does not mean is the best practice. Do you understand? The best practice is to confirm and confer with your administrator. Data analyst, are we speaking? Am I speaking your mind? Okay. So now that is it. I hope this is something good you are learning, right? Right. So now we see that we have done that. Okay, now we have done that. If we want to continue, we may want to get a report, right? We may want to get a report for, okay, write a short data quality report for a file, but we have to save the file too. Because you know documentation is one very important thing in data analysis. It's very, very important because documentation is part of quality control. So we can ask Cloud Code to write a data report, right, for what it has flagged for a human to review. You see, it's very important that we allow for that review process so that we don't work with assumptions. As data analysts, we do not assume. We don't work on assumptions. So what we will do now is to ensure that we can ask for a short data quality report, and we want the file to be saved as, let's say, data quality report. And we are using a file extension to save it in a way that we can use. We can use any file extension that we want. Okay. Let me just put it this way, data quality report. So we say in that data quality report, list what was wrong with the original data, what you corrected, and any record you flagged for human review, you see. So this is something that you will have done manually, something you will do through a data dictionary, then from data dictionary to data quality report, and so on for review. So that in case you go ahead to maybe make any change, it will be documented the change you made, who gave the permission to make the change, you understand? Who authorized the change. So it's very important that those are carefully done, okay? It's very important that those are carefully done. Who makes the adjustment, who authorizes the adjustment, and so on and so forth, okay? Is that clear? So now it has given us a data quality report. The data quality report has been saved as data quality report here. It's been saved to our folder that we attached to Cloud Code. Then in the section 1, this is the structure of the report. The section 1, it gave us a summary that top level numbers, 32 rows in, 32 rows in, 2 duplicates removed, 30 rows out, 47 rows untouched. Now, the second section is the issues found. You know, something I tell my students often, after this class, you will not have any excuse that you don't know how to write a data quality report. You know why? Because it has this structure clearly clarifies the structure or the architecture of a data quality report. That you have an executive summary, you have the issues found, you have the correction applied, you have the flag for human review section, and you have the recommendation section. You get right? So this way, even if you were doing it on your own, even if you didn't have access to AI to do it, you understand that, oh, this is the step I must take, this is what I must write, and so on and so forth. So you have this here. Now, this is the report. This is how it looks like. This is the report, right? So the summary, this is what it was. So it's something that is very easy for your administrator to look at and say, oh, original rows, excluding the header, was 32, right? Out of those 32 rows, there were 2 duplicate rows, and those duplicate rows were removed. Then the 30 rows were cleaned in the file. Of that, columns with quality issues were 8, right? Then total individuals value corrected or flagged was 47. That is the individual values within those 30 to 30 rows. When we go further, you see the issues found in the original. It's pointed out the inconsistencies, that is the issues found in the original data is the main section. Like I said, you will not have any excuse not to be able to write data quality report. So if you go for an interview and they ask you, do you know how to write data quality report? What will your answer be? Let me see. If you answer, yes, you know how to write quality report, let me see your hand. If you answer, yes, I know how to write quality report, let me see. That's good. Okay. All right, that's good. Because this is how you write a data quality report. And it's important. Nobody should tell you that you just go ahead and clean data. You must give a data quality report. Because a data analyst works as part of a team. You work as part of a team. And your data quality report ensures that proper data validation methods, data validation principles are applied for efficient data collection. Because when poor data is collected, there's loss of currency, data currency. You lost data currency. So data is meant to be collected appropriately and managed appropriately. Okay, so these were the issues, right? These were the issues. Then you go to the third part, which is the correction applied and where you apply them. So this is it, where you applied and where you apply them. Then your recommendation. It said enforce a data entry form with drop down. Do you get it, right? You get it. You see what I was talking about? Because see, When you give a data quality report, your data quality report ensures that your next data that you're working on, or the next data that is collected, is handled or collected properly or most appropriately. For instance, when you're working with data like entries like sex, diagnosis, and state, why will people have to enter them manually? There should be drop downs. Okay, there should be drop downs to enter to select those states so that it stays consistent, right? So set a single date format in the data collection tool and reject other formats on entry. You realize that data validation is not just on Excel, right? On almost all form tools, you can validate the data and data to be collected. You realize that, right? You can select your format, your date format, your drop down methods to select that. You realize that you can do that on Google Forms, SurveyMonkey, or in fact everything. Kobo tool, or what is it called? Every info. You can validate all that. But guess what? When you notice that as an analyst, notice that this was not done properly. These are the recommendations you make to ensure that you have proper format. Okay. So thank you so much. Do we have any questions so that we close and send you everything that we've worked on? So we can just tie everything together. The folder we opened, we will send it to you. The data set is there. We'll add the material we just showcased in class, add everything and share with you so that we can continue our discussions for that as we progress further. Okay. Okay, Priscilla, you said, please, sir, I have a problem with how you connect the data to cloud. Or can it be found in the PDF? Yes, it can be found in the PDF, Priscilla. It can be found in the PDF. Straightforward there. Can be found. But let me just run through it, okay? Let me run through it to just show you what we did from the beginning. So what we did from the beginning, like if you let me just come back to charts, then go to code bank. So here, it's because we worked on this, I can create a new session, right? Let me create a new session to show you that. When you create a new session here, you see here, right? So Priscilla, are you still in the meeting? You can see here. Okay. So you set here where cloud runs. Cloud can run on a cloud, remote cloud, or can run on your local machine. So we want to put it on your local machine, okay? Then here will be the folder, right? This is where you attach your folder. You save your folder wherever you want to save it, okay? So you see, for instance, it's open folder. So whatever your folder is that you've put your raw files, you put it there. We are going to share that file with you, but here we put it on our desktop. We say healthcare demo, right? So you can just click it and select the folder. When you select the folder, Cloud Code will pick the folder. Then you begin to work there. When you are working on it, so Cloud Code knows that, oh, this is where the folder is. It's on this computer and it's on the desktop and the title of the folder is this. So I have access to the folder. Okay, so Chijoke say mine is not a question. I just wanted to say thank you. The aspect of prompting AI is really helpful, especially when you talked about specifying the role. It really changes a lot. So thank you, Chijoke. Sarki Yakubo says, please sum my network. I don't know if I will be able to get a video to follow up. Definitely the video will be made available. And secondly, I really don't know why I cannot send a message in the Telegram group chat. Oh, sorry about that. I will check and know why that is. So not to say, how do you deal with data security? For example, dealing with business private data set, not anonymized. You share a whole data set. Will you not be breaching company rules? Yes, you will be breaching company rules. In fact, you will be breaching company rules. That's the challenge we use. See, let me basically clarify this, right? Let me clarify this very well. You know that with the advent or with the proliferation of all of these tools, data security issues increases every time. Data security issues increase every time. That is the fact. That is the truth. That is why every organization have their security protocol or governance. They have their governance, the security governance that they adhere to. And those rules adhere to the national or the nation's data security rules. For instance, Nigeria has theirs. You have the global cybersecurity framework and rules for data use and data breach. You have all of those. So it's very important that we know how to use AI with all of this. Now, the fact here is that you might not be able to. Now, most companies will not even allow you use certain AI on your systems, right? They will not allow you to use certain AIs on your systems. And if you don't work for such companies, let's say you are a consultant, or you are just doing a gig, you are part of the gig economy. So what happens is that you do not impute business data on platforms that don't have secure security, or platforms that will lead to data breach. So what you do is that AI this way, you see what we did so far. What we did here is we use dummy data to showcase this. And AI is a very good way to learn, right? To learn how to quickly solve problems. For instance, when I get a data set first, what should I do? That's what AI just taught us now. What I should do is to do exploratory data analysis, to explore my data, to see the challenges that are there, make record of those challenges, fix them, right? There are easy way to fix them, right? Using data cleaning protocols, there are easy way to clean them without having to attach them to AI and so on. So for now, I'll tell you as a working professional in this field, I'll tell you that it is not safe. It's absolutely not safe to feed your company's data set or business data set to AI, but you can use dummy data to actually learn how to attack your data cleaning process quickly and fast. Okay, so is it not lost? Did I answer your question, please? So it's important that we know that, okay, and this is the truth. So if we're looking at say, okay, let us do something. For me, for now, like in fact, most organizations strictly have enterprise solutions. There are some organizations now that will have their enterprise. Let me use an example: enterprise cloud. They'll use their enterprise cloud. They have their cloud API and everything that sets up for them securely. And their data, the data they use in the company does not go out. It saves on their server, on the company's own server. It doesn't go out to Anthropic server. So in situations like that, you can see that, okay, yes, that is good, that is cool. So every company have their rules, okay, concerning that. So any more question, please? So in the absence of any more question, can we call it a good evening? All right. So I want to appreciate you all for joining this session and sharing and letting us discuss with you, for asking your questions, for giving your feedback.